Hello, this is Mr. Hornsby 83. This is the Mr. Hornsby 83 show, and I am here today because it is Halloween, or it's getting close to Halloween time, and what better movie to start out a Halloween run than an action horror, a little movie that came out in 1998 that revolutionized the comic book movie genre. Blade. Now, I really like this movie, and partially because I'm a big Blade fan, but also because I'm a big Wesley Snipes fan. I love Wesley Snipes movies. Well, there's certain ones I didn't watch, but I've mostly watched a lot of Wesley Snipes movies. Or the Cowboy didn't care about her. But, it is what it is. So, anyway, so this is a good, little thing. I don't have to click on the scenes to freaking actually put them on. So as you can see there, this starts out with his mom giving birth to him after she was bit by a vampire who came out of nowhere and bit her, and then I guess somehow they gave Blade vampire blood, so that's crazy. So next up is the blind date scene where Kenneth Johnson was about to become a victim of a bunch of vampires in this club right here. You also get the introduction of Deacon Frost, the main villain, in this dance club scene and all that. But lo and behold, they don't get to do anything because there's Blade right there, just pops up. Oh yeah, you see another main villain there too. It was mainly Deacon Frost's second-hand man. Blade shows up looking awesome and cool and, kicking some vampires' tail ends and defanging half of them. And that scene's titled The Daywalker, because Blade, he's part vampire, part human, and he's able to walk in daylight. He has all their strengths, none of their weaknesses, as they always like to bring up in the movie. So this is the aftermath after Blade John wiped the mat with all the vampires there. They're all beaten and killed, and except for the one that's Deacon Frost's right-hand man, he don't die till the end of the movie. Blade's trying to get some info from him, but he won't say nothing, so he sets him on fire. Now we gotta transition to the next set of scenes. Yeah, scenes 6 through 10. So, after Blade done took care of all the vampires and that, he left this guy alive. And apparently he was going to come back and finish him, but that wasn't the case because he escapes. But you see, you get introduced to the main female lead, which is the Lady Terry. I don't know the name of the actress that played her, but she becomes a helper to Blade and Whistler toward the end of this, during the movie. She becomes a big helper to him. She gets bitten by Quinn. Yeah, Quinn's that right-hand man's name that worked for Deacon Frost. She gets bitten by Quinn. Blade going to go after Quinn, but, he looks at her. I don't know why he decided, I'm just going to take a look at this lady that's dying. And walks on, but then she reaches out, kind of like his mom, and it, reminds him of his mom, so he's like, I guess I'll help her. So he takes her back to Whistler, which, Whistler says, why didn't you just, kill her in that? He's like, I don't know. So they inject her with some kind of thing that, will heal her from turning or whatever, or keep her from turning, which she ends up creating a cure toward the end of the movie anyway, so, and she injects herself with it. But, you know, she also creates not a new serum, but a new weapon against the vampires for Blade to wipe out Deacon Frost and his crew, because right here is where you get introduced to Deacon Frost and all the head vampires. Now, honestly, I guess the vampires graduated from being blood-sucking, you know, creatures of the night to being the mafia, I'm guessing. Because it's like, you know, the way they refer to them, like Blade and Whistler refer to them like they freaking own everything. They're freaking unstoppable. That sounds a lot like, oh yeah, they got a bunch of freaking head vampire families. AKA, I wonder if this is a mafia movie disguised as a freaking Blade movie. Honestly, I mean, they're freaking sitting at little round tables too, having a little meeting with Deacon Frost. And Deacon Frost, I wonder if he was a bad guy when he was human, because he apparently wants to eat the people. He don't like the fact that the vampires have made a deal with the people. But he was human himself before he got bitten and turned, so I don't know. Maybe he has some kind of god complex to where he wants to be an immortal god, and he's like, well, you know, being a vampire is not all it's marked up to be. I want more, so I want to be a bigger, more immortal vampire. You know how it is. But yeah. The Vampire Mob family. There's where Blade's getting his serum and all that, so that he don't give in to the thirst. Which I think they changed the serum like several times throughout these movies, even through the comics and that. Alright, so now this is where pretty much Terry has to get involved, because after she finds out about Blade and Whistler, they tell her everything. Then, you know, we got Deacon Frost and the head mobster, head vampire, sitting there talking to him in the archives, and, you know, Deacon Frost is looking up the Blood God, because he wants to be like Blade, where he can walk during the day and all that, and this and that. And, you know, he makes the head vampire so mad that he smacks him in the face. So, after Blade drops Terry off, she's about to go home, but she sees that there is a couple familias, which are, you know, humans that work with the vampires. And Blade's warning her, you know, they're everywhere because they're the mafia, vampires. And after she encounters the familias that start following her, she runs to her house, but this cop's right here, and turns out he's a familia too, and he's going to kill her for the vampires because they can't do nothing that day. Blade kicks the crap out of him, robs him, even though the watch was fake. He makes a good point to mention that too. Yeah, this was fake. Boom. And so after he beats that guy up, let's go to the next scenes, which show what that guy was doing for Frost and them afterwards, which was he was getting the blood so that he could take to the freaking blood warehouse they got. Blood, even blood in this freaking movie gets played up like it's cocaine, so you know, they're the mob in disguise. They're not vampires, they're mafia. And this one does take place in New York mostly, so yeah. So then we get to Blade finally catching this guy, finding out what their plan is and everything, and, you know, tells him about Deacon Frost, because this guy works for Deacon Frost, and after Blade finally beats the crap out of him, that dude's gone. He gets killed by, he goes back and tells Frost what happened, and then Frost kills him. Don't turn him, he kills him. He freaking bites him, I guess. Which I thought was a pretty interesting plot point in this. There's certain bites that vampires could do to kill somebody without turning them vampire. But then there are certain fights that they could do to turn on vampires. So I thought it was pretty interesting little thing. As you see there, that lady right there, you'll find out who she is later on in the movie. But, you know, people didn't recognize her in that scene, which I didn't. When I first saw this movie, I didn't recognize that, you know. I didn't recognize that who it was, and then come to find out, you'll find out who that is in the next set of scenes. And, you know, Blade investigates this guy. He's talking about how he's going to get you, how he's going to get Frost and everything. One thing I will say about these Blade movies, you know, I like Part 2. Part 2 I think is pretty good. 3 was terrible, even though it had Dracula. But, I gotta say, the best villain in the Blade, what the fuck? The best villain in the Blade movies is Deacon Frost, I feel like. Alright, so, after they capture Blade, they capture the mafia, I mean vampire families, and you know, Frost is doing the ceremony to become the blood god. This is after Terry's already told him about the new stuff that can help him kill vampires, which he uses it on some of the vampires, but he mainly uses it right here on Frost. This scene was a very awesome scene, and really enjoyed it. And this movie is just amazing. Very good. Oh, I'm the blood god now. You can't kill me. And, I'll tell you, one of the best things about this is Wesley Snipes, man. And honestly, it's just, you know, everything he did as Blade, even in the bad one, which was Trinity, his mannerisms, his voice for Blade, his freaking, you know, fighting style, everything just was awesome for this role. And I hope the guy they cast to play Blade now is going to be as good as Wesley Snipes was in this role, because man, Wesley Snipes was awesome in this role. Now, yeah, you might say he phoned it in on Trinity, which may be the truth, but I don't know. So after he beats Frost and kills him with the freaking blood, with whatever that stuff was that could kill, that pop some vampires' heads, as Terry put it, we see that, you know, Blade then goes to Moscow to take down this vampire, who I guess is a part of the mafia, I mean vampire families too, I don't know. Also, something I forgot to mention is, you know, Whistler also dies right before they capture Blade. Whistler gets killed by Frost. Well, we think he's dead, but when you see 2, it's like, no, he, I guess, couldn't go through with killing himself, so he got captured by some other vampires, and he was a vampire himself, but Blade frickin' gave him some stuff cold turkey. I'll talk more about that when I do my review of Blade 2 next week. Which will probably be next Wednesday as well, because Monday and Tuesday I don't plan to do no videos. This is going to be a rough day for me those 2 days, so no videos that day. But, yeah, I wonder if people went and seen this movie because Wesley Snipes was starring in it, or because they were Blade fans. I'm pretty sure it was mainly because of Wesley Snipes being in it, because Wesley Snipes was like a big time star by the time he did this movie. Like, this was 1998. I mean, he already starred in movies such as, you know, New Jack City, which is one of the best movies ever. White Man Can't Jump. Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone as Simon Phoenix, which he was awesome in that movie. Let's see what else. Rising Sun with Sean Connery. U.S. Marshals. Drop Zone. But, you know, toward the end of the 90s, though, some of his movies were kind of getting bad, but then he did the Blade movie, which was a really good movie. And you know, a lot of people attribute, you know, the X-Men movies to, you know, to the comic book movies being revolutionized. This movie came out in 1998. That was 2 full years before the year 2000 when the first X-Men movie came out. So, pretty much Blade revolutionized the comic book movie. And that's another reason why I wanted to review this, because it was, you know what they put out the year prior before this movie came out? They put out Spawn, which I like the movie, but I know it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie, but I like it. They also put out the worst Batman movie ever, Batman and Robin. That was the year prior. That was also the year that Mortal Kombat Abomination came out. That's right, I'm just going to refer to it as Abomination. Then you get this awesome superhero movie called Blade, with Wesley Snipes as the star, Stephen Dorff as the main villain, and honestly, my opinion, like I was getting ready to say earlier, as much as I like Dracula, and, you know, I didn't care for the villains in Blade 2, even though I like Blade 2. I think it's a good movie. But Dracula was the main villain of Blade 3, and I gotta say, the best villain in the Blade trilogy was the villain in this one, which was Deacon Frost. I don't know if that's because Stephen Dorff is such a great actor, which could be the case, or, you know, the person they picked to be Dracula was a bad actor, and, you know, you really didn't care for freaking Korvax and all them as the freaking vampires in Blade 2. I mean, yeah, you did get Ron Perlman, but, you know, he was a main henchman, but still. So, yeah. So, with all the good I said about this movie, what is my score for it? Well, you know, I'm pretty sure you know by now. It is going to be a 5 out of 5 for Blade. This movie was awesome. I got jealous when, you know, my friend Eugene's brother Thomas went and seen this movie. And I'm like, man, you got to see it. He's like, yeah, it was good, man. He was going to tell me about it. I'm like, no, don't tell me about it, because I want to see it. Don't tell me. But yeah, this movie was a really good movie. And 5 out of 5 is my score for Blade. Let me know in the comments what you all think of Blade. Do you like, you know, do you agree with my score? Do you disagree? Do you think, you know, yeah, this movie was alright or what? But I think it was a great movie. A great superhero movie that really spawned. It was a movie. It was what the 1989 Batman movie was at the time. That's how good it was. But anyway, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook. I got a fan page there, which is the Mr. Hornsby 83 Show. I also got a business page, which is Trigen Toys on there. But follow me on Twitter at Mr. Hornsby 83. Follow me on Facebook, Mr. Hornsby 83 Show and Trigen Toys. And I will catch you tomorrow with the NFL prediction video. But honestly, you won't be seeing me on camera. I'll be behind the camera. I'm going to let JC predict. And I'm going to give him my predictions for who's winning divisions and making the playoffs this year. But, so JC don't know that. I'm going to let him know when he gets here tomorrow. But yeah. So again, let me know what y'all thought of Blade, the movie. Catch you guys later and peace out.